Hi, I'm Gabby Sandoval.
And I'm Jason Grobson.
And this is Self-Projecting, where we show each other movies the other hasn't seen, and then we stand by our opinions.
And there will be major spoilers for both of these films, so if you haven't seen The Final Girls or Relic, go watch those first. Okay, welcome.
Hello. I am so excited. I've been wanting Jason to watch The Final Girls for quite some time, so I'm happy, one, it happened, and two, under this circumstance. So
I know, and I loved it. I can't believe I haven't seen it for this long, because it's so my shit. I just love it.
Final Girls follows Max, a teenager who loses her mom, who's an actor in, like, what would you say, like, slasher?
She was kind of just in, like, a 180s slasher film.
180s slasher. Her mom unfortunately passes away. 3 years later, they're playing the movie. She doesn't want to go watch it, but she does. And then her and her friends end up getting stuck in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets to see her mom again, and
they kind of have to, like,
experience
be in the movie and kind of interact with the characters from this 80s horror
yeah,
slasher.
they experience the slasher, and that's
and then it gets very meta.
Yeah, it gets very meta.
I love how they go into this film in the first place. It's like a fire breaks out in the theater, and they just like there's this exit behind the screen.
She slices the screen, they go through, and they literally go into the movie.
Like, I love how simple that was. It's like, we don't need, like, a time travel plot or
we
whatever.
We don't need logistics, police.
It's like, let's just cut the screen and go in. It's like, boom. I love that. Like,
yeah.
kind of the easiest fix in the world.
What did you think? What did you like about the film?
Oh, my God. I really liked... Well, because I'm such a big horror fan, and, like, I do think about this a lot. Like, I think what it covered really well is, A, the mother-daughter dynamic, and also specifically, like, being an actress and being known for one role. I think in horror, a lot of the times, it happens in any genre, but horror, I notice it a lot. Like, an actress will be in one big role and then kind of never work in that level again. It's so absurd. They just get known for that role and then kind of do, like, conventions and stuff.
In my head, I'm just seeing someone going, "You like the movie?"
Yeah, like, literally.
Like, that becomes their life.
Like, that's so interesting. I think it explored that culture, like, kind of well. It's like, because the mom in present day, before she dies, can't get any work. She's, like, not even doing anything. Like, she's not auditioning for anything big.
Yeah,
either. She's, like,
the movie
nothing.
starts off with her auditioning. They're driving around. They're trying to make rent. There's lots of bills.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to stay positive. The mom, played by Malin Ackerman, who I think is an incredible actress.
She was so good.
Yeah,
like,
I think people sleep on her
so well. I was like, she sold obviously the mom well, but then, like, the character of the 80s slasher kind of learning
camp counselor.
It was so cool.
Virgin-esque.
Yeah.
And right before they're in the car, they're singing Betty Davis sides, and Taissa Farmiga, who plays Max, drops, like, a slushie on the headshots. Max, those are expensive! Right before the death. And then I wrote down, the power of the headshot, man. People freaking... you know how hard it was? And then the fact that it's 8x10, who made that up? So many nights in college being like...
Yeah,
the paper cutter, like...
See, I never, like, fully... You lived that culture for sure. Like, I kind of dipped out of acting really quick. I was
a big reason I respect you.
I was like, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll do my own little things, but not, like, anything major. But yeah, like, just the constant struggle. And she was, like, still struggling into... I don't know how old she was in the present day. But, like, 30s, 40s, maybe early 40s. That's just, like... You're like, damn. Like, it really is just always a, like... journey. Like, you never really reach a destination, which is what I found.
Great cast. Adam Devine, Alia Shawkat, Nina Dobrev.
Like, Nina Dobrev surprised me. I was like, okay,
because she played the mean girl.
I really liked her.
Yeah,
because I just had known her from, like, CW stuff. I was like, oh, okay, let's see her in this movie. And she was
I saw her in Degrassi, so I knew she had it in her to be a mean girl.
And she did, but then everyone sold, like, the duality of, like, both parts too. Like, Alexander Ludwig from The Hunger Games.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, so it was fun seeing him. It's not necessarily, like, a scary movie. It's, like, kind of analyzing horror movie culture to me.
But there's a horror death because they're in the film, so their reasoning is like, we have to survive the movie, because they think that they're pardoned because we're not cast in the movie, we're safe, but one of their friends does get killed. And they're like, we need to just make it in the movie, we need to stick with the final girl, we need to stick with her, but she ends up dying. So then they need to find a new final girl, and in true horror fashion, the virgin of the group, which is Taissa Farmiga. The thing that's so beautiful about the film is her mom in the movie dies in the film.
She's not the final girl in the movie either.
She's not the final girl.
Literally is a random middle kill, they say.
So it's kind of crazy that Thais's deal is with her mom that's passed in real life and has this struggle to want to bring her with.
Yeah.
But for the movie to end and for them all to live and move on, she has to go.
I wrote that in my notes too. I was like, wow, that's actually like incredible that it paralleled her real life. Like her mom also didn't make it in real life to the end, but then she had to literally live that within the film and be like, I have to go on and like I have to be the brave one. I was like, whoa, like I was not prepared for so much sadness.
Yeah, I'm like, both of the movies today, I don't know what's going on with me. I was seriously crying.
Accidentally, both of these are like really sad, and specifically about mother-daughter
and dealing with
relationships. So, like these are horror movies, but they're like more drama, kind of just sad.
Having heart and like the horrors of life and grief and loss and...
It's so hard. But then what I also wrote is what I love about film in general is like how it immortalizes them. So like she could always go. I mean, it's unfortunate that like, I guess in the movie her mom dies, the character dies. Yeah. But like she could always go to this, you know, she could watch the movie, kind of live through her in that way and like see her. So that's why I love film is beautiful in that way. It's like you are literally, no matter what happens to you after, you are always in that moment. You are that person. Yeah. And like people can always revisit you there. So
which is a big reason I love this movie. I saw this movie, I think it came around the year it came out. So 2015. No, I saw it on a projector in a studio somewhere. I don't want to get into how. That was a very LA moment for me. But I just remember being like, this movie's incredible.
Yeah.
And then flash forward, they played at the New Beverly, a double feature with Teen Witch. And quick little story with my brother, because I was like, you need to see this movie. And this was prime COVID. All of us are wearing masks. This gentleman is just standing up during the intro of the film, and me and my brother are like, all of us become kind of aware of like, this guy has a lot of confidence, like why is he standing, you know, trying times, what is he going to do to us? And it turns out it is Todd Strauss Schulson who shows up, grabs the mic, and is just so enthusiastic, so accessible, and just tells us, and it's like, I'll do a Q&A after if you guys let me. Of course we wanted to hear from him. He just gave the inside scoop of like, I regret not doing this on film. I really wanted to meet Alia. He was like, it's just expensive. Like, he was just, it's expensive. He's like, was the sound kind of off? Like, he was just like super sweet and shared with us because the writer, Joshua John Miller, with his partner M.A. Fortin, wrote the film. Joshua John Miller. But his dad was Jason Miller, who was Damien in The Exorcist.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, and his half brother was Jason Patric, who led The Lost Boys. So he wrote this movie based on which Todd told us, you know, Joshua was based off his personal experience of like his dad passing and him having The Exorcist to watch.
Yeah.
And, you know, dealing with that.
And because the character dies in that movie too.
Exactly. So
just like an interesting thing of like, wow, this is my reference point to him, and like it is like a sad ending for him there too. Like it's
so personal.
Yeah.
And they double billed it with Teen Witch, and he is in Teen Witch. So I was like, and yeah, Todd was just so awesome, and I really respect, and I think that made me love the movie more that his hands were on it.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of great that it was from personal like reference too. Yeah, that's so cool.
I know, and I also just like think it's beautiful too because he wrote this, and it was about a father-son, and he put it in a mother-daughter, you know, vessel, which
it's kind of great.
I thought that was really beautiful, like the creative license and direction that was taken in this film.
Yeah,
and I cried. My brother cried. Like it's just so, and then the usage of the music, you know. Her goodbye farewell is to Betty Davis Eyes, which is this jovial, beautiful song, and
because she knew, she was somber. Like, look, it's not. Like, I know. Like,
yeah, Thaisa, like, says, like, hey, you're actually my mom. And she's like, I know. She says, she's like, I knew I had a life. And, you know, like, the best thing that my life was you.
Yeah.
Which mothers always tend to say. And, you're like, you don't want to believe them. But, like,
whoa,
it is their truth, though.
Yeah, it's like, why do we deny it? Like, of course, no. But it's like, whoa,
that's
no,
just
it really
like,
is.
Dang, that's beautiful. But also, like,
that scene with them in the cabin right before, her mom gets killed in the movie. It's like, that was so good.
Opening my eyes.
I need to rewatch that. I'm just like, it's like one of those scenes you're watching, you're like,
yeah, no joke right now. I'm like opening my eyes wide to like not shed a tear.
Shed a tear.
Well, I hope I don't cry in this episode.
And it's okay that we do. Like, not being the final girl doesn't minimize like your value too. So I thought that was really insightful.
That you've done.
Yeah, just like, hey, you did survive to a certain point. Like, it doesn't mean you're like you're like less iconic because of it, or you like did something wrong. Because again, mirroring real life, like just because she didn't make it, or like honestly in her mind she probably didn't make it, you know, did everything she wanted to do in her career, but she still was successful in certain ways, and she still got this movie that she's known for. So you might not always get to the end point that you want, but you've still done enough to affect other people. It's beautiful. I was like writing so many notes like, this is amazing, this is amazing. It's like, I think it's honestly more of a beautiful drama. This is like so veering off. It's like not a good cap in this conversation, but I thought it was so funny. The origin story of the villain and the killer in this movie was like, because the bullies were too mean. Why is that such a trope of 80s horror too, or like 70s, 80s? Like they bullied, but like the bullies back then were like kind of murderers. Like
no, those are the good old days when you could bully.
What was Slaughter High or something we watched, where again like they like lit him on fire. I was like, okay, this is not bullying.
Throwing acid on him. Yeah, and this one they like lock him in a bathroom and they throw firecrackers in there and he gets like mangled.
Burned. And I'm like, and there's a movie called The Burning that's like, I probably was referencing that. Like, there's so many references to like, I was like, why were the bullies like horrible? Like bullies now, it's like they say like a really mean thing and they walk.
It's cyberbullying, like, a piece of cakewalk.
They don't have to do anything. You don't have to leave your house.
You could just
here. You have to go like buy materials. Like they had to buy like they had to get firecrackers.
I know.
Go to Michael's, dude.
I'm always like, I'm always telling people, I'm like, yeah, I come from a day where like hands touched you. You were shoved into a locker.
Physically
blood
injured.
Was drawn.
You showed up next day, face wrapped in gauze. But then, of course, they're gonna come back too to kill you. Like,
yeah, they had great motives back in the 80s.
Yeah, like, I was like, you kind of can't argue with a serial killer that much. You're like, yeah, you kind of push him in a well. Like, I don't know. Would you kill them too? Would you come back and be like, you guys ruined my life?
Yeah. in one avenue of my life, I would love to just wreak havoc and murder.
Or if it's Friday the 13th, you know, it's the mom that comes back and does it for him. Like, you mess with my
true son. Mama's boy. That's why Jason Voorhees for me is like, pew.
Oh, you don't? Because he's reliable.
He's aight.
Yeah. I really do like that the movie itself was bad. Mm-hmm. Like, what was it called again?
Camp Bloodbath.
Camp Bloodbath. Or just like, it was like also a shitty movie that they were in a way. I thought it was fun.
Which genius too, because they're in the movie, like, all of a sudden they'll be black and white and they're like, oh, we're in a flashback.
Yeah.
Or at the end when they're together and the title credits go behind them. Like so it was fun. So genius.
I really like that image too. Or the strip, they're like, you die when you do the striptease, so we're like taping you, we're putting like oven mitts on you so you don't do the striptease. You can't
do it.
And at a certain point she just gets out of it and does it and then dies.
She was incredible.
So they were really trying to pull away from the tropes, but I love that it was inevitable.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna take you who you are is who you are, and it's gonna get you to where you need to be.
And I think that's all that needs to be said about that.
We love the final girls.
No, so good. I just really, really liked it. And again, like, just kind of cathartic, emotional. Which leads us right into Relic.
Relic!
I first saw this movie 3 years ago, so I did forget kind of how kind of just upsetting and sad it was. More than horror, like... It's like atmospheric, of course, like it is creepy. You're kind of wondering what's happening, but so the movie follows Edna, Kay, and Sam, and so it's like a lineage of 3 mother-daughters. And so Edna has gone missing, the oldest one, and Kay goes to look for her mom and brings her daughter Sam, and the town is kind of like does a little search party, but in a weird way, Kay is like, I don't know. Did you think she reacted weird? Because she's like, look, she does before she has been losing her mind. Like, I like that she didn't take a call seriously weeks before to like when her mom was like, I'm seeing things. I think something's happening. She just kind of dismissed her in that way. So then Edna goes missing, and about 30 minutes in, they find her, and then they just try to piece together what happened, and that's what sets the scene here. What did you think? Because of course, I brought The Taking of Deborah Logan a few weeks ago, which is also about like an older woman experiencing Alzheimer's or dementia. This is a bit more of a realistic take to it, but they have some overlap. I think overall this is also a drama mixed with some horror
absolutely. What did I think as a whole? Or
yeah,
I was devastated by this film.
Like, it's so sad.
No, it's so great. But also the cinematography was incredible. Like in the imagery and the symbolism in every shot. Like there's a lot of like reflective shots.
Yeah.
And then just because they're all related, you see like this is a mirror of you and how you are. And in the scene when they're all laying together on the bed, it just literally shows the lineage of each of them in order of how they're, you know, it's such a dark film. She basically lives in a clue house.
Yeah.
You know, showing we have secrets. I just love the realism of having a loved one, you know, be sick and how it affects everyone. The person that it's going to or happening to, and those around. And it is very realistic that Kay, unfortunately, mother daughters, they fight and then they don't get along, and it's like mom. But then she ends up having a very meaningful like I'm so sorry. I wish I could be here. I want to help you because. Yeah,
I think she was avoiding going over a lot.
The grief.
She's like, I don't even want to really quite see what's happening. But then she is eventually forced to confront it when her mom goes missing, and she has to like be there, and then she sees that something's very, very wrong. I think she was in denial, of course, and then I really like Sam, Kay's daughter, so Edna's granddaughter.
I feel like she represented me at some points. I'm like,
she was great. I mean, she also was affected and like, but she kind of took the side of like, hey, maybe we should try to figure out what she wants, even though maybe she can't express it. Like, maybe putting her in like the nursing home isn't a great idea.
Not a good idea.
Like that scene where Kay visits the nursing home is so sad because it's just like they're like, look, she has an ocean view, and then you look at the view and it's actually building, and then like a little bit of ocean in between all the gray buildings. And it was like that was like a really effective scene for me. That's when she breaks down.
She's bums me out, like again, like how much we disregard the elderly.
Yeah,
and shows it. You know, a life, like just someone's life. You know, they're about to escape this who they think is a monster, and she's just like, that is actually my mom. I can't leave her. And it's so good. She ends up helping her peel away her skin. And again, so beautiful, like shedding who you are, what you've become, and yet I love you all in between. I'm like so
we picked really sad movies, guys. No, it is that she just like peels her away, like, but then at the core she really gets to be like, okay, I see you again. I'm gonna hold you and like ease you into this next phase. I'm trying to be the guide here. But it is beautiful because Kay's whole thing was like, I'm not accepting this. I'm not looking at it. Yeah. I'm not going to think of her as... She kind of is like dissociating almost in a way of like their relationship. And then at the very end, she finally she does stay with her after this really big chaotic ending scene happens where the mom is chasing them around and she's like fully possessed by... the disease, but of course, like, it's
this
kind
is why I don't want to be a mom. It's just like so much pressure, and the Edna like doesn't want to be that way. Like she has moments of clarity through the sickness of like There's a scene where she's eating the pictures, and it is disgusting and terrifying, but like again, so literal of like I'm trying to ingest these memories. Yeah, I'm trying to ingest moments that I've had with you. Like I don't, and she's like, I just want to go home. I just want to, like literally, I just don't want to lose myself. And I was like.
Yeah, what I liked about this movie is it really was like, it was told like kind of in a metaphorical way, but still wasn't too far off of like just the real experience. It just did a little bit like more in terms of to show like the extremes of this disease. Like, what do you think? Because like this film has been a little bit criticized for like...
Oh God, I don't know.
Well, and films like this in general.
Don't want to hear the criticism.
Well, no. It's, I guess, not criticism, but like horror does sometimes get called out for like making older people like scary or villainous. I don't think this movie does that, but like some people did say it was.
When I saw the trailer, I think I did send you a voice memo. I'm so sick of us making, older women.
You're like, who says that? And then you're like, it was me.
No. At first, on topical review, but watch the movie, and also it's giving actors a time to freaking shine and be represented. And it's showing this. Also, don't be mad at the movie. Be mad at the projection that it's showing of you and how you are. Like, I'm just mirroring what I see, and that's you guys. You guys do this to older women.
Yeah, maybe it's the guilt of like, oh, I do this too. I don't want to check in with my... They don't want to see that,
oh man, I put someone at home.
Oh yeah, but that's always a big struggle. Like, people don't want to like actually look at those actions too hard. Or like, I'm really not like, why don't I want to like check in with my aging relatives? It's like, I don't know if I want to confront it. It's like,
Yeah.
I like this movie. It's like, hey, you need to see like what's going on and like be a part of it and like really witness. I'm not saying all old people get like Alzheimer's either, but like when that happens, like you have to confront it.
Or being there for the end of someone's cycle.
Which I think was really beautiful, actually, like how they did it here.
Because
like,
we celebrate birth a lot. We celebrate the baby, it's new. But like that movie.
Being at the end too, I think being their caretaker, well, because it swaps, right? That's what they always say. Like to be able to be their caretaker in that moment with them, I think showed her really well. Like it's actually an honor in some ways to be like.
It's always the daughter that sticks around. Again, like I don't think this would have hit as hard, or I don't think I would have been as believable. Like.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think a son would have stuck around.
Maybe that's, like, a movie that they should explore next or something. Like, what can horror do that with, like...
show us something.
The son just being like, I'm staying late at work. I'm not doing the Insidious with, like, Patrick Wilson's like... Well, yeah, what I liked about this movie is, like, yes, there are some scary elements, but, like, those are realistic. Like, realistic elements. So it's not, like, anything too jump scary or, like, unrealistic to me.
The horror is grief and loss and
witnessing someone change,
being in the dark on a lot of situations,
and then also kind of the fear of could it happen to me? Will this be our dynamic in the future? You know, kind of accept. How do you even talk about that? It's hard.
I'm really close to my family, so we always like with the siblings are like, I'll die first. Like all of us want to die first because like I don't want to deal with you not here. Like we're always like I'll take the L, I'll go. We've always, like, for the longest time, because it's, like, just something that you know is there.
Yeah.
We're always joking, like, will be, like, a wreck, and that's why, like, my brother gets mad at me, because when people experience loss, like, I don't want to freaking hear, like, my condolences, sorry for your loss, like, I want to hear that sucks ass. Like, that would come from me, and my brother, like, so I'll say that, I'm like, that sucks. My brother's like, Gabby, other people will probably think you're rude. They're gonna go home, Gabby just said it sucks. And I was like, we all are different.
But you know what?
We all are different.
Yeah, I mean, it is all different, like, but I think that is more realistic. I mean, I hate that sometimes death has to be performative.
It has to be so corporate.
It's like, why are we still corporate? I just want to be, like, sobbing and being like, fuck, like, I just hate everything. That's more realistic.
I want to hand you a gun so you can shoot in the sky. Like, that's what I would love to do for you. Or no joke, when they're experiencing the loss of a loved one, take this grenade, take it out on them.
This is, like, a good... I think this is another reason I'm always discovering why I like horror. It's like horror really does prepare you in a way to think and talk about death. Because you see it happen to so many people in these movies. You're like, wow, kind of could come at any time, and you see how fragile the human body is. Again, like it becomes like you're just like always kind of around death when you watch horror.
Yeah, and a big problem I have with people who attack me and Jason of like, I don't like horror because I don't like seeing pain. Like it doesn't give me joy.
Like,
shut
who's
up.
ever getting joy?
Who says I'm laughing and in a way desensitizing and preparing for grief?
Yeah, it's called catharsis.
And
bitch.
Finding, amen. Because people are like, they always want to get like holier than thou.
I could never watch anyone get murdered, but you guys have fun.
I don't like seeing people go through pain like you do. Like I don't find joy in that. And I'm just like, okay.
It's like I'm actually learning about the human experience and all its complexities.
Yeah.
But okay.
So that's that. But brings us to our through line. Daughter experiences are bonded.
This is actually one of the most clear through lines I think we will probably ever have in our lives.
It couldn't have been more perfect.
Mother-daughter, grief, losing them, accepting and seeing them as they are.
Like truly seeing...
And being there for their moments. Like they both saw them into the next part of their lives.
It's time for Rapid Recs.
My first Rapid Rec for this week is Ghostwatch from 1992. It was aired as a live BBC broadcast, and it scared the shit out of a bunch of people because they thought it was real. But I highly recommend it because it is actually pretty creepy and feels like a newscast because that's what they wanted people to think it was. Happy Death Day to You from 2019. We kind of cried and got emotional this episode, and this is a continuation of that. It's again about a mother-daughter, and there's such a beautiful scene that I cry to every time, and it's also pretty fun and scary. Annabelle from 2014, yes, the original. I love it so much, and I think people should give it another chance. If you've seen it and didn't like it, like revisit it. I think it's pretty creepy. And then Vacancy from 2007. I love this movie, watch it every year, and it's about this couple that finds himself at a snuff film motel. So what more do you need?
1999, Stir of Echoes. Kevin Bacon gets hypnotized and then is able to see some paranormal activity in his apartment. It's so good. Mimic, 1997, Guillermo del Toro. We got cockroach-infested New York City. It's very sticky, messy, and kids die. And I saw it when I was a kid, so it's rough. 1995, Hideaway. You got Jeff Goldblum, Alicia Silverstone, Jeremy Sisto. Jeff Goldblum dies, comes back to life, has these visions. Turns out he's in the mind of a serial killer. It's cool. Ending off with 1990s Fear with Ali Sheedy and Pruitt Taylor Vince. She's a psychic. She's helping out the FBI. Turns out the serial killer also a psychic, so they're dueling. It's awesome. And those are my recs.
Next week we're going more into camp and gore.
We're giving the people what they want. We're not giving. We're gonna give no more intellect, no more feelings. We're gonna give just slasher gore.
Let's
realness.
give in. So next week, I'm bringing Dead Silence.
Well, I'm bringing in Dead Alive. I'm Gabby Sandoval.
And I'm Jason Grabasich.
And this is Self-Projecting.